everybody. Welcome to Real Estate with Ryan. So excited that you guys could spend your Saturday with us. Always great to have you, and we got an exciting show for you. Hope you're having a start to an amazing weekend, and we're full of real estate. Kiddos are back to school. It's so hard to believe, and August is almost there at the ending. That means, in a couple weeks, it's football time in East Tennessee. That's what everybody's talking about. Yes, we talk about that in real estate, football time. We love football time. It's an exciting time. You can kind of see as the season's changing, so much is going on. And the housing market, you can kind of see that season changing as well. We believe that the second half of the year, I was telling my clients the other day, is going to be better than the first half. So a lot of news going on. As always, thank you for tuning in. If you're tuning in for the first time, this is Real Estate with Ryan, where we cover the Knoxville and East Tennessee housing market, tell you what's going on with interest rates, give you some tips, ideas, and obviously just have a chance in this show to share what we do at our company and how we help a lot of individuals that are buying or selling. One of the largest investments that you're going to make, and of course in today's market, it could be one of the most stressful things that you can do. So we'll try to make it pain-free, give you some good information to make the right decisions moving forward this year. So before we start, as always, if you're tuning in the first time, you always can catch us on News Talk 98.7 at 1 o'clock every Saturday. Our great partners there, 8-9 years running. We've got a great program there. Check us out Saturday, 1 o'clock. If not, our other partners, Talk Radio, 92.3 FM, 11 a.m. Also streaming live on their Facebook page in case you can't catch us there. And, of course, where there's social media, we're at Real Estate with Ryan, Facebook, Twitter, you name it, Instagram, X, we're all there, and all your Spotify's, et cetera, right? A lot of places to be, just in case you're busy, and I know you guys are. Let's talk about some new congrats, new listings. We've been busy, and we'll jump right into the real estate news. New listing lot, Kodak, out there near, was it Buc-ee's? What a hot place that has been out there, right off the interchange. So new building lot, sellers were going to build, change their mind, acre and a half. Make sure you check that property out. 251 Moose Ridge Way, cabin and Pigeon Forge just listed. Make sure you check that out. Listing on Fox Road, West Knoxville, under contract, back under contract. Congrats to our great seller. Red Hill Road, under contract here in Clinton. Andersonville to be exact. Okay. And that's our pendings and actives real quickly this week. So much going on in the market. I think you're finding that, the feds are talking about the interest rates. It seems like that's always what we're talking about. But in today's market, affordability is the number one factor that we can face in the housing market. I was with a customer just a little while ago before we got on the radio, and had a chance. It's West Knoxville, right down the street. And he reminded me that we had a chance to meet with him during COVID, kind of pre-COVID or right after COVID, and kind of brought back some memories. It's good, bad, indifference. Nothing with a seller. Great guy, but he's like, yeah, I remember you just got over COVID. I was like, I remember that. I'll never forget that. I know a lot of you guys will never forget that time. But I had a chance to look at his property then, and then now you can see from 2020 to 2025, it's about a 5-year span. And we're looking through some numbers, of course, in his neighborhood and some other sales, and just taking that perspective. We sell a lot of homes here. We're very busy. We're all over the place. And so I was telling the seller, in today's market, you really don't study. It's almost impossible to study the whole market and every subdivision, it's really where, we get a great seller that calls us. We go out and evaluate their property, or buyer that's looking for something. We're evaluating that neighborhood. But there's so many neighborhoods and places to go, you're not studying every neighborhood. You just can't. It's not physically possible. So I had a chance to review his numbers, and it's rare that we have a chance to come back to that property that you just visited several years ago. I don't know about you guys, but it feels like COVID was just right around the corner. And, I was watching my babies, and some of those Facebook memories pop up, and you see the mask, and you see the pictures, and you go, man, those are tough times. I saw one picture where my wife was cutting my hair, was pretty much froed out and really wild looking, and you remember those times. So hopefully there were some tough times and for a lot of families, but we try to build on that. We look back in the housing market, and going back to my subject, affordability, was this particular house we're looking at the sales. I mean, some of these houses are $700,000 or $800,000, and of course, again, we're selling a lot of property out there, and so we don't think anything of it. But just looking back from 5 years ago to what the homes are selling for, it's a big jump. And then, you go to the affordability factor. So he's looking to purchase something, but it has to make sense on the downside. So I think just seeing that in the housing market, looking at those numbers, really give you a chance as you're a seller and a buyer. You hear it on the news and you hear what's going on, but I don't think you see it till it really hits home. And I think this really hit home because we were able to look at that property here and just look at what the prices are. And obviously those days on market are longer. And obviously because of the affordability factor, nobody can afford the higher prices. So that's the struggle that we're seeing. Let's go into a little bit of this. I want to tell you a little bit about some good news on the housing market and what we've seen. 3 or 4 contracts have just come in maybe within the last hour or two since we've been talking. So Freddie Mac reported that on August 14th, the rates from 30-year fixed-rate mortgage fell to 6.58. It is the lowest we've been since October. The rate drop went from 6.63 to a 6.58. Our 15-year mortgage was declined from 5.71, previous at 5.75. Some of our FHA, VA rates were as low as low 6 at 6.1, 6.2 for 30-year fixed. What does that mean for everybody? I think it's probably safe to say you never know what the Fed's going to do, so you just can't watch the market. But I think it's probably safe to see that the rates are reacting to what we expect the market to be. So that doesn't mean here in September when the rates, if they do make an adjustment, a lot of these rates are padded, meaning they've already built them in for the price index. And so you're seeing some of the adjustment now that probably will take effect here in a couple weeks. What does that mean for buyers? What does that mean for sellers? It means a lot. It means that if you're going to think about buying or selling, a lot of people pulled off on the sidelines. There's a window of opportunity that I think will be here for the rest of the year. Maybe a perfect opportunity to call us, get your property in the market, because we're expecting a little bit of a surge of inventory and a surge of sales. I just had a great client that talked a little bit on the phone, and we were, and I'll get into our show and our topic in a minute, but I thought it was a very important topic, was, hey, Ryan, I may not be ready to move this second, but we're going to rent something, but we're going to keep the property off the market. And if somebody brings us an buyer, realtors keep us in mind. We're not going to market or advertise it. We're not going to list it with a realtor. We're going to want somebody to kind of come by pocket listing and things like that. There's always an opportunity for that. Certain markets, certain times, that worked really, really well. I can tell you don't want to miss this opportunity. Last 2 years have been challenging. Interest rates, we've looked at it. We see the affordability factor. We see the rates, how that's affected the housing market here in Knoxville and surrounding areas. And I just told the seller, I said, listen, if nobody knows you're for sale, or if you're going out there looking for a handful of buyers, you may miss your opportunity. Real estate is always so important. I say this a lot, but real estate's about timing. Catching that right property at the right time, right? Buying, before the market shifts, catching where the interest rates and really get the best financing at the right time in the right place. And so if you're not on the market, you're not advertised right, don't have the right team working for you, you may miss that opportunity. So, I'm going to encourage everybody that if you're buying or selling, now may be the time to really consider this fall, moving forward, getting that house on the market. We're seeing a surge in some sales on our cabins. I just put a 2-3 under contract cabin and another 1-4 under contract. So we're seeing the tax bill, cost segregation, all that kind of come into play on these bigger cabins. A client I'm working with said, Ryan, I was just bought the cabin straight up for tax advantages. And we're seeing that, So there's going to be a lot of advantages moving forward in the market. So expect a busy fall moving forward. But I don't think that the sales are going to be dramatic. And we're probably going to see a probably even percentage, a couple 1 or 2 points appreciation of home prices. But that's good. So we're going to talk about a topic, and we'll carry a little bit onto this before we go into the second half. We're talking about termites. Let's say termites, Ryan. Why are we talking about bugs, termites? Is it important to get a termite inspection when buying a home? Everybody's going to say yes. Some buy without a termite inspection. Some are paid cash. And some, right, do get a termite inspection. We're going to talk about that, how it's important. We'll talk about some other items in the real estate market, what we need to do to be prepared to have your house ready. We'll talk about termite inspections, why it's important. I just recently purchased a property, didn't do the termite inspection, and really find myself thinking, we got to talk about real estate with Ryan. Stay with us for the second half of Real Estate with Ryan.
Knoxville and East Tennessee. The region is known for its rolling hills, rivers, and lakes. There's no better place to work, live, or raise a family. Home is where your story begins. Buying or selling your home is a big decision, and you need a real estate team you can trust.
I'm Ryan Coleman with Hometown Realty, your hometown experts. Whether you're buying or selling a home, let us develop a winning game plan for you.
Hometown Realty is East Tennessee's #1 real estate group and a proud sponsor of the Vols.
I'm Ryan Coleman with Hometown Realty. The real estate market's changing every day. You need to know your home's value in today's market. Text your home address to 290-2290 for an instant, no obligation home evaluation. That's 865-290-2290. And remember, when you're ready to sell, we have a guaranteed sale program to get you in your next home stress-free. Trust your hometown experts. We've helped thousands of people just like you. All right, thanks for staying with us. Real Estate with Ryan, back at it, second half. We're talking a little bit of story time. We're having a good time, and we're talking about on our second half why it's so important that when you purchase a home, everybody knows home inspections are important. Not everybody thinks that, hey, termites are important. Well, we just purchased a property. I figured we want to talk about it, my experience, how to reinforce that, and what's important moving forward if you're buying one, and why a termite inspection. I'll never buy another property again without a proper termite inspection. But before we get going, as always, we got our 60-second vol update. Time is ticking right around the corner. All right, drum roll, please. All right, our vols are in action in just a matter of 2 weeks. Hard to believe that football season is here. I'm always telling everybody, listen, our social pages are out there. We were at the stadium the other day. I posted on our social media. Let me tell you, it's amazing what's going on there. You're going to love the renovations. I can tell you the construction team, we were walking by. I had a chance to talk to the superintendent. I said, man, are you guys tearing up pavement? Got things moving on? I said, are y'all going to make it? I said, we've got guys coming here in just a couple of weeks. Oh, we're going to make it. We're going to make it, Ryan. And, I mean, it was, I said, man, no pressure, no pressure. I said, I think there's a game going to be going on. And I said, not like our normal deals, right? Some of our construction say, hey, or a builder, hey, we're delayed. The Vol Nation's going to be there on opening day. So I don't know how they do it. It's going to be amazing. I know they're going to pull it off. So super exciting. Had a chance to, at a meeting the other day, introduced to Mike Keith, our new announcer. Vol Nation is amazing. Great speaker. So glad to have him. I think you guys are going to be very, very impressed. Just a great guy. Had a great meeting with us. And so you're going to be excited for the new voice of the Vols, Mike Keith. Amazing man there, and great speaking with them and to the group there. So it was awesome. I did. So 2 weeks out, Vol Nation, make sure you like, subscribe to all of our social channels. We're going to send you, by the way, to every home game across the board. We're sold out, man. Hey, it's going to be the hottest ticket in town. It's going to be an amazing time. Hope to see you guys there. As always, that's our Vol 60-second update. Hometown Realty, proud sponsor of the Vols. Go Big Orange. All right, so got that done. Going on. Moving forward in the housing market, what's going on? As I talked about in the first segment, I expect that we're seeing some movement. People that have pulled the properties off the market, people that are holding. Maybe they've got a lower interest rate, or you're thinking about, well, kids are back into school. You may want to replan that and think about it. Kind of feel it's a little bit of a buyer's incentives, but we talked about in the first half, real estate's timing, and real estate can turn on a dime. And so it's so important to get your value, know what's going on. Great customer that I talked about back 5 years ago that we met with in pre-COVID had me out today looking at numbers, getting that together. I encourage you guys to take up on that. We offer a free service. You can always get your value. Even if you're not ready to talk to me now, I would encourage to do this. Better than Zillow and all these little bots. It's our team taking time to find out what your home's value is. Now, we'll give you a great estimate. Now, understand, please, If I haven't seen the home, we'll look in pictures, we'll give you information. It's going to be an estimate. The best estimate is coming out to see it physically. I know you may not be ready for that, and that's fine. But that's why we have this service for you. So get your cell number, get your PIN, text me at your convenience, 865-290-2290. I'll repeat that, 865-290-2290. All you got to do is text me your address. Our team will get on it, give you an evaluation of what it is now, at least a pretty close price range. And if you want us to move forward or come closer to give you a more accurate number, we can do that, okay? Make sure you have that available, or you can visit us on the web, and we can do that for you as well. Let's talk about termites. Let's talk about why that's important to get the bugs out. I used to always say, Ryan, got termites? Just kill them. Well. Property that we had a chance to purchase had some water damage. And this is some water damage. Well, you see it, and this by the walkway, they had pets and things like that. Wasn't aware of that water damage or things like that. Guess what? That's a feeding ground for termites. Termites are commonly known as the silent destroyer for good reasons. The National Pest Management Association's these ferocious pests are capable of causing serious damage and threatening the structural integrity of a home while hiding within the walls and foundations of the walls. So what are some of the things that I learned and I wasn't aware of? And termites are so important, and I will never buy another house without doing it. You know, I mean, we go at it, and we do a lot of inspections, don't have a lot of problems, but this particular situation had me thinking a lot differently. So there was some water damage, i.e. then there were some termites, and we had a great company. I'm going to actually probably get them back on, get them to come on the radio, and they've agreed to do a segment about what goes into their job, what they look for, things that we wouldn't even think about. But I wanted to kind of reinforce some things that maybe you didn't know and kind of share with my audience. So what is a wood DO, or a WDO is what they call it, wood destroying organism report? Basically, it's a termite letter that says there's clearance. And most of our loans, they either require it or don't require it. If you're purchasing FHA or VA, they're always going to require that kind of letter. But conventional loans do not. And so I thought that was very important to know. Now, we always see that, but I thought was visible evidence. What a young gentleman was telling me at the property is, you know, the termite letter that you get, even if we go and get an inspection, just because it says that there's a report so that we didn't see anything, it's on the date that they were there, that visible evidence. So they just may have not saw them, but you could still have termites. Does a clean termite report mean that there's no termites? And it does not mean that. I said, well, what good is a termite report, right? And, you know, a lot of the things with termites and what we're finding is that they can get behind walls, they can get behind blocks, and that's why they call them the silent killer, because you can't see them. They can get up in joists. And when some of these inspections are done, some of the homes aren't vacant. They've got furniture. They got things like that. Sometimes they're only able to inspect 17 to 25% of the home. They said that, believe it or not, termites can get in as small as a width size of a sheet of paper. That was good to know that. I was like, well, goodness gracious. And the only really safe way to protect against termites, protect your home, protect your investments, is to have treatment. Homeowners usually doesn't cover it. So that was, I mean, you know the insurance company, they don't want to cover much, no offense, but termites are year-round. They feed year-round colonies, sheltering the foundation of the walls and somewhat shielded from the cold temperatures outside. While these intruders can make it easy to stay hidden from homeowners, professional inspectors can help uncover termite activity in your home. I had some things that I thought maybe were very helpful for homeowners. If you're thinking about putting your property on the market, things to look forward to or to look at. I say wouldn't look forward to, but look forward that you don't have them. Mud tubes. Mud tubes are constructed from the mud. If you ever see those around like foundation or block walls, that is a sign of termite damage or termites that are there. Damaged wood, eaten through, in and out, so damaged that it's hollow. You ever seen that wood where you touch it and it's kind of like, It's like a sponge and just kind of breaks up. Disregarded wings. See little wings, you think they're bugs. They're actually termites. Termites find their way in tight-fitted doors and windows and make it very difficult to find them, difficult to open. If you see bubbling wallpaper, I didn't know that, bubbling paint or wallpaper could be a sign that termites are evident. So that's important. That was something new I didn't know. And frass, I don't know what that was. That's droppings, which is gross. Small wood-covered pellets. Those are indicated that you have termites. Things that you wouldn't think of, though, but this was key. In a lot of older houses that we go through, squeaky floors, loose tiles, visible damage to siding. How about staining or siding? Yep, sometimes you'll see that. Buckling, sagging, or sealing walls. Older properties could be termites. So there's a lot that goes into it. My biggest thing is make sure you have a termite company come out and check it. Make sure your inspector is doing a visible inspection. And then most importantly, what I would recommend moving forward, make sure you have a termite prevention in place, even if you don't have termites. I think we spent, a couple $100, maybe it's $1,000. You have to shop around. Call my office. We'll give you a good recommendation of a company. But I think in this area, you just can't afford to risk your home with what comes in. And the moisture, we run into so many problems with moisture, right? Moisture from gutters, proper drainage, and now moisture will cause termites. I mean, I didn't really know that they feed on that. And so it could cause thousands and thousands of dollars of damage. So thinking about putting your home on the market, make sure you get a termite inspection moving forward. Hope y'all have an amazing weekend. Thank you for staying tuned with Real Estate with Ryan. We'll see you next weekend.